Well, Neymar to United. United have been keeping tabs on Neymar, being told to us by Foot Mercato. And then Alejandro Garnacho is seen as the next Kylian Mbappe. However much they're really having a difference of like 7 years in their age. But obviously, the Argentine former legend has gone ahead and said, not former legend, is a legend, that's it. That is a legend of Argentina, formerly played football for the Argentine national team and was one of the sounding names in the eras of Maradona. Has gone ahead and really said he sees Garnacho as the next Kylian Mbappe. Welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. If actually watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and obviously we are keeping it United Matters channel, United content strictly, with Luke Shaw coming out and really telling us that he's enjoying playing as a left back for Manchester United, and he is happy with what Erik ten Hag is telling him and what the commands are really coming in from the managerial team of Manchester United. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and obviously let's see close to 100 likes smash this video, and let's dive into these stories being reported to us by Mercato and Manchester United. PSG would like to part ways with Neymar Jr. Manchester United have been keeping an eye on him for several months. No concrete approaches, but they inquired about him at the start of the year. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is Neymar being linked to Manchester United? You know, PSG have gotten to know that even if you sign a star-studded side, it cannot win the Champions League. You know, they once had Cavani, Thiago Silva, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Draxler. They had good players, talented, up to the levels of being the best in the world, but they found themselves not winning the Champions League. Now, recently they've had Messi, Neymar, Kylian Mbappe. They couldn't lift the Champions League, and they were knocked out by Bayern Munich recently. When they reached the finale, they had Mbappe, they had Neymar, and PSG, and obviously it's not PSG, and Bayern Munich beat them by 1 goal to nil, scored by Marcellus Coleman, meaning that Gatla, the new manager of PSG, has gone ahead to really tell the board that we don't need these stars. All what we need is to go ahead and really build a team that can really come out through and really play better games of football. Look at Kylian Mbappe. His stardom at PSG is really out of this world. He was handed the duty of a sporting director and technical director at PSG in the new contract that he signed that saw him earn close to £1 million per week, and he pocketed close to 300 million euros as his sign-on fee at PSG. So it shows you how weird keeping such players like Kylian Mbappe is, you understand? And it shows you how small PSG is to be having Messi, Neymar, and Kylian Mbappe. And as it stands, Messi is not willing to renew his contract at PSG. That means PSG is willing to let him go on a free, and obviously he's going on a free, and his most destination or ideal destination is Barcelona. Then Neymar is another one that feels like the favors being given to Kylian Mbappe are so much, and he cannot really be in the same team with Kylian Mbappe, who is being treated like a king in a kingdom that has other players that can act as kings. So for Neymar, he feels like he cannot coexist in the same team with Kylian Mbappe, and it looks like even Kylian Mbappe has gone ahead to really let the board know that I want to be the star player here, you know, bring in other players to come in and do the needful for me. And when you look at the likes of PSG, they've gone ahead to act onto that project, because last summer they never signed any star player. You know, they signed Renato Sanchez, Diaz, I think it is Luis Diaz, Ruben Diaz from, I think, Lazio. They brought in Ekitike, they brought in Michele, Nuno Mendes. So they've brought in players that are really young and talented, but not in the levels of those Galacticos that they used to have. And it was also evident at Real Madrid that the year they had a lot of Galacticos, they never lifted the Champions League. But a team that really had a mixture of Galacticos and some other players that are really not up to the levels of being Galacticos just went out and really put in results that saw Madrid win the Champions League close to 3 times consecutively, and recently they're just gonna hate to lift it again under the manager known as Carlo Ancelotti. So I think Mbappe wants to stay at PSG as the only famous player. And I think that will help PSG, because if at all you're having one famous player like Mbappe and the entire team is working to make Mbappe look better, then PSG can go all out and lift the Champions League. So that leaves Neymar in a space of being wanted out. Now, when you look at teams into the Premier League, Manchester United is one of those teams that would love to get Neymar. I understand. If you know the Glazers, they really want to get players like Neymar. Having lost Ronaldo, they feel like if we bring in Neymar, it can work all out like a charm for United. But to me, I wouldn't like this forgery to happen. I would like to see to it that Neymar comes to Manchester United after the sanctioning of Erik ten Hag. If Erik ten Hag doesn't want the player, then he shouldn't be brought here. Even if it's Sheikh Jassim Al Thani, because he knows what we call the Qataris a lot, and they own PSG, and he can easily get a player from there on a cheap. I understand, but we shouldn't find ourselves in a position of being used, right? We shouldn't find ourselves in a position of being used, by these Qataris. Sorry, by Sheikh Jassim Al Thani. Sheikh Jassim Al Thani should respect the work of Erik ten Hag, Unless otherwise Erik ten Hag wants to sign Neymar, that's when I would love to see Neymar come to Manchester United. But if at all he doesn't want him at the club of Manchester United, and it's not the one sanctioning or telling the board to really look in the situation of Neymar at PSG, then I wouldn't love to see that happening at the club of Manchester United to sign Neymar, because that will be like the board trying to really sign Neymar, something that I hate. We should sign players that are being brought in by Erik ten Hag, and I think the contract of Erik ten Hag insinuates it out very well that no player will be brought in at the club of Manchester United without my sanctioning, and I think he has all what it takes to do it. But I think Sheikh Jassim Al Thani will pay due respect to Erik ten Hag when he comes in through, and we'll always be telling him, do you want this player or not? If not, things won't go well as he wants them to be. So when you look at Neymar, his contract at PSG is expiring on 30th June 2025. 2 years left, not so, with an option of 1 year, meaning that he's left with 3 years on his contract. And I think I don't want us to see ourselves spend £70 million onto a player like Neymar, because it looks like if I were to get Neymar right now, I think we are supposed to cough like £70 million. That's it. So, in the situation in which we are right now, I think we don't need a player like Neymar. We are having lots of players who are really in their early 30s, Varane has clocked 30 today, and happy birthday to Rafael Varane, Harry Maguire is soon hitting 30. Casemiro is 31. Eriksen is 31. Bruno Fernandes is going to make 29 years of age. So, I don't want us to see us in a situation of having players close to 30 or more than 30 years of age. I think we should sign in players who are really great, that can really take this club to the next level. I don't underestimate the ability of Neymar, but there are a lot of question marks onto his discipline. Will he follow the discipline of Erik ten Hag? I doubt. So I think we should let Erik ten Hag have the next Neymar, not having Neymar, Let's get the next Neymar, not getting Neymar, I think amid him being able to play in several positions, central attack midfielder, left attack midfielder, he can also lead the line as a false number 9, but I don't want to see him at Manchester United. Unless the likes of Erik ten Hag is going to hate to say that he should come to the club of Manchester United, then I'll sanction that, and I'll also be in queue or in line with Erik ten Hag. But if at all ten Hag doesn't want the player at Manchester United, let that player not surface at the club of Manchester United. Then, we've been told again by former Argentina forward Mario Kempes. You know him very well. That Garnacho has an incredible confidence and personality. He reminds me of Mbappe. I don't know why he didn't go to the World Cup. You know, so Garnacho reminds him of Kylian Mbappe. If you're talking about Kylian Mbappe and Garnacho, what do they have in common? Pace. They are all fast players. 2, they all hit the ground running when they are still young. You know, at the age of 18, Kylian Mbappe won or lifted the World Cup, right? Was it 18? Because right now Mbappe is like 24 years of age, right? Meaning that 4 years back, he was 20, you know? And I think Garnacho had a chance to lift the World Cup at 18 because that World Cup, he was onto the provisional lineup of the players going to the World Cup. Though Erik ten Hag was not willing to allow him to go and say that it would have been a very bad decision for Garnacho to go to the World Cup. But I think their players are really special. I saw Messi in 2010, you know, 2010, those are 13 years back, when Messi was, I think 2010, those are how many years back? Because 2010, you add 13 years. Now, I think Messi was like 20. Was Messi like 18? You know? And he was playing in the World Cup. No, 2006 World Cup. Messi was there. And I think he was 18 years of age. So there are certain players that are really special that can really play at the World Cup at the age of 18 and at a high level. So I think Garnacho would have been a very good involvement with that Argentina team and would have seen himself lift the World Cup in Qatar last year. So comparing him to Kylian Mbappe, I think they are all fast players, you know. Secondly, skill set, good, but I think Garnacho has a more clear skill set than Mbappe, and I think Garnacho is more direct. And secondly, I think Garnacho can even surpass Mbappe. Do you know why? I think Garnacho is being held by one of the most, or being managed and developed by one of the best managers we've known in the world of doing that job. That is Erik ten Hag. If at all, you talk about grooming young talent and turning it out in what's supposed to be, Erik ten Hag is one of those, you know. And at Ajax, he had not been granted an opportunity to get some of the best talents in the world. But at United, he's having Garnacho, and I think in his age bracket in the world, no one beats him. I'm talking about wingers and the way he plays his wide play. People will say Pedri, but I think Pedri has been playing at that level for some years. And what really gives Pedri a lot of time and chances to play into that position and be talked about as one of the best players in the world in that age, in that teenage, is simple. You know, in the La Liga, you know, there are few teams that can give you a game, like teams like Brighton, Aston Villa, Newcastle, you know, that can give you. You know, that means in the La Liga, you are only having two teams that can really come out and really feel like hardships, you know, or a pain in the ass for teams like Barcelona, and that is only Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. But in the Premier League, Brighton, a 6th or 5th place team, can give Arsenal, a team topping the league, a beating. A team like Southampton, bottom on the league, can come out and really shock Arsenal at their stadium, imagine, and the game ends 3-3. So that means you don't have a lot of chance and a lot of opportunity to really give or test these players. I believe if Garnacho was still into the La Liga, he would have been playing for the previous 2 seasons at the top level. But I think with Erik ten Hag coming in and giving him the limelight that he loved at Manchester United and the confidence, this boy is really going to turn out as one of the best players. And to me, I believe he's going to be one of those players competing for what we call the crown or the hair of the next crown of Messi and Ronaldo. That's it. I think Garnacho is going to be in that ilk. He's still at 18 years of age. He's making 19 this year. He's playing at a team that has gone ahead to really embrace him. That is Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. Ten Hag sees him as that one player that can really turn around things at the club of Manchester United, and I think his future is very bright. Not Mbappe, because Mbappe fell into PSG, and PSG has not been playing at the top levels because they are playing in the Farmers League, and his efforts are really going to be recognized lessly in the world than those of Kylian Mbappe, and I think than those of Alejandro Garnacho. If Garnacho happens to win the Champions League, or to play in the Champions League final with Manchester United next season, that will make a lot of noise in the world than Kylian Mbappe playing in the Champions League finale at the age of like 22 with PSG. So I think Garnacho is really into that ilk of becoming even more than Mbappe, and I think his trajectory is really going to be higher than that of Kylian Mbappe, and I think he's going to hit heights if at all he stays disciplined and obviously doesn't find himself in the positions of really not listening to the words that Ten Hag is telling him. Luke Shaw on playing central defense, he said, "I'm having a lot of fun in that position. I've spoken a lot with the manager over the past few days about what he expects of me, and I'm happy to help the team wherever I play, and today I hope that's what I have done." That's what Luke Shaw really said after defending the team of Brighton, and we never conceded a goal in the entire 120 minutes. And guys, us keeping a clean sheet against Brighton was really an achievement when our two best central defense pairing of Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane was away. Not so? Don't you think that? I think it was really great, but it's good also to hear that Luke Shaw is telling us that he enjoys playing the beautiful game of football, especially playing into that central defense. And he has sat down on several occasions, talked to Erik Ten Hag, and Ten Hag has told him that this is what I expect out of you, and continue doing the best. So guys, your thoughts onto Neymar, onto United keeping tabs, onto United, onto Manchester United keeping tabs on Neymar are welcome in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts about Garnacho being the next Kylian Mbappe, and obviously Luke Shaw enjoying playing the central defense position for Manchester United. I sign out for now. See you later. I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Good night. I think it's good evening, not so? Good evening, my mate.